When you were a kid, summer was enormous. Not 3 months enormous, more like a continent. There were sprinklers, bikes, boredom, weird clouds, the smell of sunscreen, and at least one day that seemed to last longer than most modern fiscal quarters. Now, adulthood does something suspicious. You blink and it's June. Blink again and calendar pages are flying by like a cartoon, except the cartoon is your taxes. So here's the mystery. If every year still contains the same number of hours, why does life feel like it is speeding up? Suspect number one is the classic explanation. A year gets smaller because it becomes a smaller fraction of your life. When you're 5, 1 year is 20% of everything you've ever experienced. When you're 50, it's only 2%. That idea is neat. It might be part of the story, but it can't solve the whole case because one adult weekend in a strange city can feel huge in memory. Meanwhile, an entire routine month can vanish like a browser tab you definitely meant to come back to. So the real suspect is not just age, it's memory. Your brain does not store life like a video file. There is no tiny security camera in your head dutifully recording every spoon, sock, and password reset. Instead, memory is selective. It grabs changes, surprises, emotions, new places, meaningful details, moments where your brain says, wait, this matters. Childhood is packed with those. First school, first sleepover, first time getting lost, first time seeing the ocean, first time realizing adults do not in fact know everything. A child's life is covered in mental bookmarks. Adulthood often has more repetition. Same route, same inbox, same grocery aisle, same laundry pile, somehow regenerating like a mythological beast. Emails, laundry, and commuting. The time compression trio nobody asked for. When the brain sees the same pattern again and again, it can basically say, I've seen this episode, and skip the recap. This is why a normal Tuesday can feel perfectly real while you're living it, but later become almost impossible to locate. You know what happened. You were there, probably wearing pants. But memory opens the file and finds commute, inbox, lunch, inbox, dishes, one gray block. Researchers often distinguish between two kinds of time. Time as we experience it in the moment, and time as we remember it later. And these two clocks do not always agree. A boring work meeting can feel eternal while you're trapped inside it, watching the second hand move like it's carrying furniture uphill. But a week of similar meetings may later collapse into almost nothing. On the other hand, a trip can fly by while it's happening. New streets, new food, wrong train, hotel hallway, rainstorm, strange sandwich. But afterward it feels long because memory has so many handles to grab. This is sometimes called the holiday paradox. Fast to live, big to remember. Another clue is something psychologists call event segmentation. Basically, your brain divides continuous life into events, like chapters in a book. Walking into a restaurant is one event, ordering is another. The awkward moment when you realize you've been pushing a pull door is tragically a very memorable third event. Changes in location, goal, emotion, people, or surprise create boundaries. Boundaries make chapters. Childhood often has thick chapters, full of underlines and weird drawings in the margins. Routine adulthood can make the pages stick together. There is even recent neuroscience work using people watching movie clips, including Hitchcock, to study how brains divide unfolding experience into states. Some researchers think age-related changes in this segmentation may help explain why time feels faster later in life. That's not the whole answer, but it fits the mystery. Fewer distinct chapters may mean a shorter feeling story in hindsight. So, what can we do with this? Not hack time. The clock is annoyingly committed to its job. But you can give memory more chapters. Take a different route. Learn something you are bad at. Make a seasonal ritual. Visit a new street in your own city. Put a small marker around the month. A dinner, a hike, a playlist, a letter, a museum, a weirdly specific Saturday photo. The goal is not constant novelty. That would be exhausting. Routine is useful. Comforting, even. The goal is to break up the blur, because life may feel faster when memory has fewer distinct events to hold on to. You cannot make a year contain more hours, but you can make it contain more edges, more markers, more moments. Your brain does not immediately file under. Yeah, this again. Maybe time isn't flying. Maybe memory just needs more places to land. And if this made your last 5 years suddenly feel suspicious, subscribe for more small mysteries hiding in ordinary life.